The clock showed May 25th, 1982, cutting through the vast, cold expanse over the Falkland Islands Las Malvinas to flights of Argentine A-4 Skyhawk jets, 4 aircraft in total, screamed toward what their pilots knew was likely a terminal mission. At the helm was Captain Pablo Carballo, guiding men in dated, sparely equipped jets loaded only with gravity-fed bombs. Their audacious objective: to eliminate the crucial British warships, HMS Coventry and Argentina held the islands, but their grasp was precarious. To Montagnit, these 2 British frigates, having moved dangerously close to cover ground troops, had to be neutralized. This proximity, however, offered the Skyhawks a slim chance. The landmass could shield them from the formidable British radar. Entering their range, don't climb for any reason. The Skyhawks daringly dropped to wave-top height, their flight path expertly hugging the island's contours as they breached the enemy's detection envelope. Aboard the British ships, the cutting-edge anti-air missiles and radar systems were already famous for their devastating efficiency against Argentinian raids. Staying low was their only prayer. Captain David Hart-Dyke, aboard the Coventry, was already at peak alert, informed by special forces that an attack was imminent, though he didn't know his ship was the bullseye. The sudden appearance of 4 contacts confirmed his darkest anxieties. 4 contacts bearing 225 range 30. Action stations were immediately ordered. Alarms blared, and the sophisticated Sea Dart surface-to-air missile launchers swiftly turned to face the threat. The Argentinians used Pebble Island as their screen. Isla de Bourbon ahead. Keep low and follow me. With phenomenal skill, the jets vanished from British radar. Contacts lost over Pebble Island. Hart-Dyke understood the terrifying implication. The island was too close. The long-range Sea Darts had a minimum effective range, leaving them perhaps only one chance to fire. He desperately radioed the Broadsword, which carried the Seawolf missiles, a system better suited for close-range skirmishes. Carballo, utilizing the terrain to its maximum, brought his flight within 10 nautical miles. With no onboard radar or warning systems, the pilots had to rely solely on their eyes. "Starting the attack!" he roared. He and his wingman, Lieutenant Carlos Rink, dropped even lower, accelerating to flat-out speed, practically skimming the ocean surface. The captain's impossible choice. Aboard the Coventry, the 2 Skyhawks immediately blazed back onto the radar. 2 hostiles, bearing 192 low-level. Panic intensified as a British Harrier jump jet was detected simultaneously in the kill zone. Enemy and friendly aircraft shared the same airspace. Should he risk firing? In a fraction of a second, Hart-Dyke chose the missile. Turned the Harrier away. Shoot missiles, but the fire control operators couldn't get a lock. The Argentinians were flying ludicrously low, just feet above the wave, so low that the spray was coating Carballo's canopy, causing the tracking radar to lose coherence. The Sea Dart missiles failed to lock, and the crew's hearts hammered as the Skyhawks closed. Hart-Dyke's worst dread was confirmed. He silently prayed the Broadsword's shorter-range Seawolf missiles would perform the miracle. Are you on the edge of your seat? If the intensity of this historical battle captures your imagination, then please like this video, subscribe for more epic accounts of warfare, and comment below with your take on the impossible dilemma faced by Captain Hart-Dyke. On the Broadsword, the lookout sighted the incoming jets. The Skyhawks were so tightly packed that the Seawolf radar saw them as a single target. The system locked, but as the Argentinians began their final run, the single contact fractured into 2, overloading and crashing the guidance computer. The missiles are not responding. Restart them. There was no time. Lookouts on the Coventry were shouting as they saw the enemy with the naked eye. In a final, desperate gambit, Coventry's deck guns opened up, swiftly backed by every sailor with a personal machine gun or rifle. Carballo saw the splashes from the shells creeping closer, the tracers refining their aim. The target was right there, victory within reach, but he knew they wouldn't survive the run. Change to the other one. He ordered a target swap to the Broadsword. The 2 planes veered, roaring past Coventry's deck and lining up for their new pass. Triggers were pulled, and their 1,000-pound bombs plummeted toward the sea. They hit the water and began to skip, bouncing like massive stones toward the British ship. Broadsword's crew watched in horror as two huge shapes bounced twice. One bomb sank harmlessly. The other slammed into Broadsword's side, was deflected upward, and punched out through the deck, falling into the sea without exploding. Carballo's victory was hollow, but the attack was not over. Following closely behind were the second flight. First Lieutenant Mariano Angel Velasco and Ensign Jorge Nelson Berrianuvo, armed with lighter, more dependable 250-kilogram bombs. Aboard Coventry, all four contacts now appeared on the radar. Hart-Dyke ordered an immediate, sharp turn to starboard, hoping to bring the sea darts to bear on the entire flight. The missile operators got a lock on Velasco. "Shoot!" A flash erupted from Coventry's deck as the missile soared skyward. Just then, Velasco and his wingman dropped lower still, vanishing from the screen. The sea dart lost its lock and flew straight and away. Velasco saw the missile flash past 500 meters to his right. His eyes locked on the Coventry. The Broadsword, meanwhile, was frantically restarting its missile systems. The crew watched the blank screens, engaged in a terrifying race against the incoming Skyhawk speed and their computer's reboot time. "Come on." The screens blinked to life. The target was locked. The launcher swiveled. Then, disaster. HMS Coventry sailed directly across the line of fire. God damn it. The Coventry is in the way. In their haste, they had inadvertently shielded the Skyhawks from the only missiles that could hit them. The captain tried to maneuver, but it was too late. In the Skyhawks, Velasco and Berrianuvo were on top of their target. Hart-Dyke ordered every turret to fire at will. Cannons, machine guns, and even the main 4.5-inch gun joined the barrage. Men desperately realized the sights were misaligned. The 20mm anti-air gun promptly jammed. Sailors across the ship opened up with personal rifles. The sea around the ship churned from the intense, but uncoordinated, fire. The impact and aftermath, it was futile. "Brace! Brace! Brace!" echoed over the intercom. Men scrambled for cover, waiting. Velasco saw the ship fill his entire view, held the trigger on his 20mm cannons, sprang the deck and superstructure with lead, then released his payload. The bombs arced down, slamming into Coventry's hull with two ominous, muffled thunks. No explosion. The second A-4 roared over, its bombs failing to release. For agonizing seconds, nothing happened. Men began to rise, confusion mixing with fear. Then, the bombs detonated. Two gigantic explosions ripped through HMS Coventry. The Argentine pilots were ecstatic, cheering as smoke billowed from the frigate. One explosion under the bridge tore a massive hole and destroyed the computer and operations rooms, engulfing Captain Hart-Dyke and his team in fire and destruction. The second blast wrecked the forward engine room, cutting power and propulsion. Hart-Dyke, wounded and disoriented, staggered to his feet. Surrounded by smoke and screams, he realized the ship was listing. His intercom was dead. He navigated the smoke-filled corridors as the ship groaned and cracked, finally emerging onto the deck into the cold South Atlantic air. Instead of chaos, he was met with the sight of a highly efficient evacuation. Sailors professionally rescued the trapped, applied first aid, and prepared rafts. Hart-Dyke, wounded and dazed, sat on the rapidly listing hull, watching his men abandon ship. He was the last man. After all his crew had gone, Hart-Dyke took one final long look at the smoking, dying ship, he commanded. Esturidon, he finally entered the last survival raft and pushed off. Due to the superb discipline and training of the British crew, 170 survivors were plucked from the water by HMS Broadsword and rescue helicopters. Tragically, 19 sailors were lost. The Argentinian pilots all made it back safely. Stunning tactical success, yet one that ultimately failed to alter the outcome of the war. If you found this detailed account of bravery under fire compelling, hit that like button. For more in-depth military history and untold war stories, make sure to subscribe. Finally, comment below. What does the crewist professionalism during the Coventry sinking tell you about the quality of the Royal Navy at the time?